Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Last week, I put out an episode regarding kind of some inside information that we had about guys that were joining the NPFL, signing up to fish the NPFL season for 2025. And we had some big names that were on that list saying they were going to be fishing the NPFL next year. Well, that list is getting a little bigger, and there's some more big names that are being added to it. Stick around, and we're going to add some big names to that list that we gave you last week. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher. Like I said, this is some kind of insider information that we have. We told you about some names, and I'm just going to read off this list. Some of these guys were guys that were already fishing the NPFL. Zach Burge, Drew Cook, Kyle Welcher, Patrick Walters, John Cox, Pete Pons, Kobe Krieger, Tommy Biffle, David Fritz. Those guys had fished NPFL in the past, and they're on the list coming back in 2025. We also told you about guys like Scott Canterbury and Scott Suggs, Gerald Swindle and James Watson. Those were big names that are now saying they're going to fish in 2025 with the NPFL. That no forward-facing sonar, it seems to be encouraging some of the older veteran pros that have a lot of tournament wins, a lot of tournament earnings. They're coming to fish the NPFL. Now remember what we said on the last episode. They aren't necessarily fishing the NPFL exclusively. They may still be fishing bass, but they're coming and saying they're going to fish the entire 2025 season with the NPFL in addition. They aren't necessarily saying they're moving over exclusively, but they're going to be fishing the NPFL season. Remember, the NPFL has built their schedule so that it coexists with bass. It allows a bass elite angler to fish on the Bass Elites, but also jump in and fish the NPFL tournaments as well. They are not exclusive when it comes to their tournament schedules. Let's look at some other names that have been added. This is new information that we didn't have a week ago when we put that initial episode out. We know now that some of the names of guys that did fish last year, they're going to be returning to the NPFL as well. Charlie Ingram, Buddy Gross, Jason Reyes. Those are all names. Those are guys that fished last year, but they're coming back to the NPFL this year as well. But guys, here are two names that we now have to add to the ranks of the NPFL. Two-time classic champ, only the fourth angler in history to ever win back-to-back classics. He's got 8 classic appearances. Hank Cherry is going to be fishing the NPFL. Hank Cherry's got over $1.5 million of career earnings, that back-to-back classic wins, and Hank Cherry is going to be coming and fishing the NPFL. And here's the next big name, Greg Hackney, 18 classic appearances. He's a 3-time Elite Series champion. He was the Angler of the Year in 2014. Greg Hackney has won almost $3 million total in career earnings. Greg Hackney is coming over to fish the NPFL. Now, guys, when you look at these names, I know what I'm thinking. My guess is you're thinking the same thing. Yeah, a lot of the older veterans are saying, hey, I'm going to go fish somewhere where my skills, my talents that I've honed over all of these years, I can use them, as opposed to fishing against young guys that are working forward facing. Well, it seems like that's the case. And again, I'm not speaking for them. That's just the way it appears. But Good for NPFL for having that form for them to fish, and good for these guys to decide that that's the place that they want to go. Again, I'm repeating this, it doesn't mean that they're only fishing NPFL. They may still stay on the elites, but they have signed on the dotted line, and they're going to be fishing the 2025 NPFL schedule as well. Some more inside information that we have currently as of this week. As much as it seems like there's a lot of veteran names that are signing up to fish on the NPFL, they aren't at that magic number that they want to believe. I believe that the NPFL wants to have a full field of 125, and they aren't there yet. Doesn't mean they're not going to get there, but right now, a week before Thanksgiving, they're still at about 75, give or take, in terms of anglers being signed up. Don't know that that's necessarily behind schedule, ahead of schedule, but they aren't at a full field yet. So if you're interested in fishing the NPFL, you might want to give them a call and see if there's any openings or see how you get into that. Interestingly enough, on the invitational side of things, that's about the same place that the invitationals are right now in terms of filling their field. Remember, the invitationals want to get 150 anglers to fish on the invitationals, and they are really only at about that 75, 77 anglers signed up so far on the invitationals. So they're also looking for anglers to fish in their circuit. That's the circuit that leads up to the BPT. But remember, the invitationals are one day using forward facing, another day without, the next day with, the next day without. And so I wonder if that's having an impact on how fast or slow that circuit is filling up. It could be a factor of forward facing, could be a factor in whether these circuits are filling up. It could be that there's just a lot of circuits at that level and too many circuits and not enough fishermen. It could be the economy. There could be a lot of reasons why maybe they're not filling up as quickly as they have in the past. But we'll see if they fill up. I'm curious what your thoughts are in terms of, will they be able to meet their goals in terms of getting to 125 for the NPFL or 150 for the invitationals? We'll kind of see as time goes on. But we wanted to bring you this information. Those are some big names that are fishing the NPFL for sure. Guys, we hope you appreciate this content. If you do, hit that like and subscribe button. Send us your comments with your thoughts about this. And we will see you tomorrow for another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.